This is a fascinating and intricate story about a spiritual diary that has had a profound impact on the European spiritual community. The author of the diary was a young boy from a wealthy family in the 19th century. From a young age, he demonstrated unusual characteristics that set him apart from other children. Not only could he see lights emanating from people's bodies, but he could also see spirits from the spirit world. At first, the boy was naive and thought that everyone could see what he could. However, his interactions with others were often met with doubt and mockery. Eventually, he chose not to share his experiences with others, instead deciding to document everything he saw and heard in a private diary. The diary was eventually published publicly because of a chance encounter with Scott, a renowned writer and musician who was deeply moved after reading it. After much contemplation, Scott requested the author's permission to make the diary public, which the author finally agreed to, but with two conditions. First, the diary could only be published after the author's death, and second, the details that could potentially cause trouble for his living family and friends had to be altered. This decision to publish the diary years after the author's death gave the diary an additional air of mystery. As we dive into the 1885 diary, we learn that the boy began writing it between the ages of 6 and 8, capturing his extraordinary experiences from his unique perspective. The boy observed a world different from ours, one filled with radiant lights emanating from people's bodies. He realized that these lights were unique to each person and changed based on their emotions. The boy could discern a person's health, emotional state, and even their moral character by observing these lights. On the 29th of April, 1885, the boy encountered an elderly woman whose light was exceptionally unique. He and his mother were traveling by train when they passed through beautiful fields and saw sheep and trees. Across from him sat an elderly lady, and he observed that her light had a beautiful combination of pink and blue hues. It was so captivating that he longed to approach her, but given the strict class distinctions at the time, he was too afraid to speak to her. He simply smiled shyly. This observation reinforced his belief that the elderly woman was a person filled with love and kindness, as her light seemed to radiate warmth and compassion. This confirmed to the boy that she was no ordinary person, but someone exceptional. The boy's family was devout, and one day in January 1885, while attending church, the boy found himself questioning the religious rituals. He didn't understand why they repeated the same prayers and hymns each Sunday. He believed that God might feel uncomfortable with the constant praise and adoration. He began to share his thoughts with his mother, but she was too conservative to understand him, and neither did his father. Thus, the boy continued documenting his thoughts and experiences in his diary, as no one around him truly understood his perspective. The boy also had a piano teacher named Florine, who was kind and approachable compared to some of the other teachers. On May 28, 1886, while the boy was having piano lessons, he saw the ghost of Florine's father. The boy was not frightened and recognized that the spirit was trying to communicate something to his daughter. The boy later recalled what his mother had told him, that Florine's father had passed away months earlier. He realized that he was witnessing a spirit trying to reach out. Although the boy was reluctant to share what he saw with Florine, he eventually gathered the courage to ask her about her thoughts on the third eye. Florine, however, did not believe in the existence of spirits and thought the boy's imagination was running wild. Despite his best efforts to describe the spirit he saw, Florine dismissed it angrily, telling him to stop talking about such things. Although this interaction saddened the boy, it also confirmed to him that his gift was not widely understood by those around him. The boy's personal tutor, Mr. Botman, was the only one who truly understood and encouraged his spiritual experiences. One day, while visiting Mr. Botman's home, the boy noticed the spirit of a large black dog sitting by the tutor's side. When asked, "Mr." Botman explained that the dog, named York, had passed away a few months earlier, and its spirit was now with them. This encounter deepened the boy's understanding of the connection between the living and the dead, reinforcing the idea that memories of loved ones and pets bind them to the living world. One night, after dinner with Mr. Botman, the boy saw another spirit in the room. This time, it was an old friend of Mr. Botman's named Jimmy, who had passed away recently. Jimmy was confused and didn't realize he had died. The boy attempted to explain the situation, but Jimmy refused to believe that death was real. Jimmy even dismissed the idea of spirits existing, believing instead that death meant the end of everything. This interaction highlighted the challenge of convincing someone who had not yet crossed over to the spiritual realm. It also showed the boy the complexity of death and the transition from life to the afterlife. On the 9th of October, 1887, during another session with Mr. Botman, the boy saw a sailor's spirit. This sailor had drowned recently, and his mother was grieving deeply. The sailor wished for the boy to convey a message to his mother, telling her to stop grieving, as it was causing him pain. The boy and Mr. Botman visited the sailor's mother to share the message, but she rejected it, insisting that her son would only return during the day of resurrection. This interaction further explored the theme of the difficulty in letting go of loved ones after they have passed. The boy's spiritual experiences continued to shape his understanding of the afterlife. He learned valuable lessons about the nature of spirits and their attachments to the living world, and how those who were unable to move on from their loved ones were often trapped in a state of confusion or sorrow. The boy also encountered other spiritual mentors who taught him about the importance of inner peace and the true nature of spiritual growth. These mentors helped him navigate his spiritual journey, guiding him toward greater understanding and compassion. As the boy grew older, he continued to encounter spirits and gain deeper insights into the nature of life and death. He learned about karma, the cycles of reincarnation, and how every action in life influenced the soul's journey through different lifetimes. Through these lessons, he came to understand that true spiritual growth required an awareness of one's inner self and the ability to align oneself with the universal laws of the universe. The boy's experiences and his diary eventually became a powerful testament to the unseen world and the lessons that can be learned through spiritual exploration. His insights were not only transformative for him but also had a profound impact on others, encouraging people to look beyond the material world and embrace the spiritual realm. The boy's journey, chronicled in his extraordinary diary, remains an enduring legacy that continues to inspire those seeking a deeper understanding of the mysteries of life and the afterlife.